We're just waiting for it to get started. What do you like to see on the first weapon slot, basically on the Uncle?
Yeah, I actually have been... first sword on Uncle of the tournament.
We're gonna get the Uncle check. It's not gonna be a sword. It'll be the bow early on. That's gonna change the routing considerably. They can do dark rooms, and at 4 and 2, I bet they can. You may see them go jump Eastern right away, and the flippers early on. Well, that's kind of a double-edged sword. As they won't be able to actually Houlihan if they want to get the rupees with the flippers, not in the normal way.
All right, so way into the escape sequence. Let's see if anything throw these runners for a loop with an interesting start.
Just a key in the first chest there. As we proceed up into the escape room, the bow, 30 arrows is pretty much no problem to get through this. They are going to want a bomb very badly if they can get those 3 chests in the back of the escape, and they want more now that the map showed up early.
Yeah, especially when that happens, we do know that the back of escape is going to have 3 useful items, so potentially 3 useful items. So they definitely do want to hunt for that bomb.
Alright, heading down. Takes 3 arrows to kill him, though I was a little off. 4 arrows. And a big 3 for rupees, so hula-handing not a big problem at this point.
Yeah, Zelda sitting on a rupee hoard there. Gonna get a for rescuing her today.
Alright, as we head on up to the top of the escape, free light cone is always in standard. The only place you will get it anywhere in any of the forms of Randomizer. A couple of different sprites, Bunny Link on the right and Birthday Suit Link on the left, all totally available in the Randomizer app on the Randomizer site. Alright, as Devios and Tigre, almost in sync, head on through to the back of escape. Talking about maybe a second of difference at this point. $17 arrows and 13 arrows apiece. No bombs yet! I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to farm some on these Snakes, no luck there. It seems like the prize packs are not holding bombs. Into the sewer. Only 6 arrows left for Devio. Gotta be a little bit careful. Don't actually have another weapon to take out the hard mouse. If I gets it, no problem. No bombs for either side. That probably means that the prize packs just don't have them down here. They are more than likely going to have to revisit this to get those 3 chests. Tigre's going to try everything, but I think it's going to be to no avail, unfortunately. Just 20 rupees on the Sanctuary. The Sanct, a little off sync. A little bit under 620 for both, considering the farming going on. That's pretty good. And Devio's following the standard route up. He's going to give a check on the Lumberjack Cave along with the Lost Woods. But first, a tree pull. Just some magic, nothing terribly useful at this moment. And a 5 rupee crab, that's not enough to make you chase him. And we go into the cave. And Lumberjack Cave, just some boring old bombs. Would love to have them right now, but not. But I wouldn't think you want to clear Aghanim for it. Alright, into the Lost Woods with Devio we go, and Tigre not far behind. Just a big 20 on the mushroom spot, so no need to pick that up. And 20 rupees. Seeing Rip Aga in the chat, not necessarily. There still need to be a couple of items to get Dark World access. They could be on the entrance pyramid very easily. It could be the hammer could be in Palace of Darkness, for instance. The Moon Pearl could be on the pyramid. A lot of ways this can still go. And Devio is going to opt to go down and buy bombs and get the tavern item. Devio getting bombs in the tavern, so no need to necessarily buy them. You may still want to, because you're going to need to use both of those bombs in Kakariko. Good chance you'll get another bomb pull, but just a chance that you won't. And the magic cape in the back of the well. And not much else, unfortunately. This is a rough seed for bombs early on. Alright, as we check out Blind's house, last bomb being used by Devio. And the ice rod, you never love to see that early because that tends to scream some sort of required turtle rock. I think both our runners are going to go stop in that shop and buy 10 bombs before continuing on. And there it is, Devio buys his bombs. Heading on down, gonna check out the Borders bookstore along with the race game. Need the boots to get the item out of the Borders here. See if it's important. It is bombs, which again would be nice, but not gonna run back here for them.
And hopefully, I'm now back.
And Crowzone is here.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had small internet connectivity issues. I'm sure Ridley was doing a good job keeping everybody appraised of the situations, though.
And the hammer in the race game. So we are now a Moon Pearl and a glove upgrade away from full Darkworld access.
Yeah, that's a nice item to find coming out of the Kakariko village. Just another weapon to have, especially when you're lacking a melee weapon.
All right, checking the dam. Just some money.
And money underneath the dam as well. So...
Map check that we've already had. It would be a major crystal on Eastern Palace, a minor pendant on Desert, and a minor crystal on Tower of Hera. Was it minor or was it green? It was green. Okay, it was a green pendant on Desert.
And we'll get a look here now in Mini Moldorm Cave. So another high item density location. Devio's going for the bomb strats instead of going for a bow and arrow shooting gallery because he has no arrows left.
No arrows. Limited bombs too, so it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you could always go up there and hammer time that last Mini Moldorm. He does want to make sure he saves... Oh, he's got a boomerang, so he will have a ranged weapon for certain things. Gets a piece of heart there in the first one, a full heart container. There's the Moon Pearl.
The important one.
Yeah. And a fighter sword coming out of this, so that was a pretty hype Mini Moldorm cave.
What is incredible to me is that I have yet to see a single loose bomb drop. We are through Kakariko Village and halfway through the southern
Haven't
chapter.
had one yet, yeah.
Not one.
So our runners now are looking for that glove upgrade.
Got some good route divergence here. Tigre heading up to the man under the bridge. Devio heading up to the Ice Rock Cave.
And as soon as we find ourselves a lantern, that does put Castle Tower into the logic, but
Yeah,
until that time...
The only thing that would have to be behind that is the first glove upgrade at this point.
And there's the lantern, speaking of which. So Hobo's got some light under his bridge. So we really are hoping to see that glove relatively soon. I think our runners would prefer that to having to take a trip up Castle Tower.
That glove would totally wipe out Aghanim.
And I like this pathing here for LTigre. He's going to be able to get up to Ice Rod Cave through the water. You know, it's very tight and efficient path to have gone and done that hobo check first.
I bet they're wishing they had a little bit more money, because the next logical step would be Zora area. But
Yeah,
under
and
500 rupees is a little rough.
It's super uncomfortable if you have to go there. And as chat brings up, there's a high possibility or a probability there that the escape could have had a glove upgrade in it.
That is actually not possible.
It's not logically blocked anymore.
You can't get down there without the glove.
Yes, I know, but the game assumes, the logic assumes that you'll be able to get bombs. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll soft lock. They'll have to just do Castle Tower and find the other upgrade. But
right,
it is
they
a
can
possibility.
put the second upgrade theoretically into there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can force not getting out of escape with that back of escape check can force a Naga. It's just incredibly awkward. And plus they can always go back way. So they get the sword and a bomb upgrade here simultaneously at the Waterfall of Wishing. And as chat correctly points out, you can go back through the castle again at any point.
I did not know that you could walk back there. Okay.
You can't in the regular game, but in Randomizer you can.
And nothing going on there in a dead sink right now.
Yeah, that's you don't often see like absolute screen by screen, side by side mirrors, but right now that's where we're at, and it looks like we're gonna head towards Eastern Palace for both runners. See what Saharshala's got in the back of that hut with the bow and the lamp. The entire dungeon is completable within logic,
and it's a major crystal, so this would be the move.
Yeah, there's never really a reason not to go to a full crystal clearable dungeon, and there's some 4 bombs on the ground, so we got a few of those now. But as I was saying, there's never a reason not to go to a crystal dungeon when you could fully complete it, unless you're trying to save it for a better, more efficient routing time. So, all sorts of big red rupees there in Saharshala's hut.
This is, with the exception of some really early progression, an incredibly stingy seed so far.
Yeah, it's funny to say that when you have bow and hammer already, but it's just holding on to things tightly. We usually see 1 or 2 more good progression items by this point, but they'll just have to come a little bit later.
That was a bomb drop I saw, by the way, on Devio that he actually walked by.
And with that, both our runners enter Eastern Palace.
Still early on, the seed has been basically guiding them the same way.
Yeah, sometimes when a seed leads you by the nose like this, it actually is indicator that you're going to have a very quick path through the seed. Of course, as soon as it opens up and there's a lot of options to choose from, it gets a lot more difficult to predict where the best path will go, and it gives you the opportunity to make decisions that are less than ideal. So in this case, they're kind of forced to go this way, and it's a very linear, direct route. And we're just literally getting room for room images. Big key there, the second item location.
A single glove upgrade would very quickly open up this game.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot more places available than it seems. A lot of one-offs after Eastern Palace, of course. They'll be able to go up the mountain. Oh no, they can't. They don't have a glove. My bad.
No glove. They can go to Agina's.
They can go to Agina's cave. And at that point, they'll have to find 500 rupees to check Zora, and I think that might be just about it.
Oh, and they can check back of escape.
And back of escape.
As we just mentioned.
So big key chest here contains another piece of heart. So we're actually looking at the health, like incredibly healthy here for an early point.
No, once the seed opens up, it's not going to be a particularly difficult seed in terms of execution. You're not going to see any deaths really.
Yeah, and if both of these runners are on the ball, they should be able to come out of this dungeon with some extra rupees if they choose to go to that rupee area. In order to make sure they have enough for Zora. So yeah, just a reminder to check, because they're asking again. Yeah, in Rando, you can in fact go back in through the castle to get to back of escape. It's awful, but it can be done.
Considering Eastern, I believe, has just come up totally empty.
Yeah, so far that was pretty much it, right? Have we seen all 3 items?
I believe
Devio's almost forgetting to check the big key chest there.
LTigre smartly getting his rupees.
Yeah, so this is, they can go in here, pick up all these rupees, get just over 500. We'll see if Devio also remembers that he can go to this door. He's a little bit closer to 500, but chooses not to do that.
Not everyone remembers that that's there. That's so rarely routed in.
Yeah, it is rarely routed. And we do know that Back of Escape does not have the map, so it is 3 potential items there. And Amish Carbomb asks a great question while these people are writing. Why are there some stars on dungeons in the tracker? It indicates that they are either a 5/6 crystal or a green pendant. That's a feature put in the tracker for people who are colorblind and aren't able to necessarily see that those are special dungeons. So that's either a red crystal or a green pendant if it has a star next to it.
We're off on Armos. They both should have enough arrows to handle this no problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
LTigre getting on 3, any blue rupees, so Armos up. Eastern Palace comes up empty outside the crystal.
Now the real question is, will they make that play into the Back of Escape and instead of going up Castle Tower? I believe both will. You have to go into the castle anyway, so it's such an awkward feeling. You have to also kind of feel as if your opponent had got bombs and you just didn't. So you'll feel really crummy about it, but I think that we're going to see LTigre. He's making his way there right now.
You may see Geen is also available.
Mm-hmm. And Devio also going to go that way as well.
That's where the best density is.
Yeah, so we might be seeing a Castle Tower play. We'll find out in a few seconds. Or we're going to be going, oh, it looks like LTigre is going to go up Castle Tower. Let's see if Devio decides to go back through the Back of Escape. Nope. Yes. So we're going to see a divergence here, and we'll see if this pays off for Devio, because, you know, I don't know that I've ever seen a split like this where both have gone 2 different ways at the same time to know if it is more ideal to just go ahead and deal with Aga. We'll see who gets out of this fastest.
This is gigantic. If Devio comes up with the gloves, he's going to take a big lead. If he does not, LTigre is going to take a big lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That is 100% the case here.
Devio looks like he's setting up a death warp.
Setting up a death warp in the event that this doesn't work out for him.
Red crystals can get you the super bomb in the dark world. Answering a question in chat, which gets you 2 more items if you have both red crystals.
Yeah, it just opens up an additional area in the game. Man, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here, waiting to see what happens for Devio. This is pretty scary. Half a heart, so he's ready to death warp after he picks up a single rupee, 20 more, and 3 bombs. Oh no, that's heartbreaking.
That's good for LTigre. 5 floors in the lead.
Yeah, and that's just an awful situation. Like, because you have to be feeling like, wait a minute, something's there. And turns out, nope, that was not the case. I thought so, and so did a lot of chat. But there are just 2 items left in the overworld, and neither runner is going to be willing to risk it. I was wondering if Devio, if that didn't pay off, if he was going to go ahead and try Agana and Zora, but did not. And with that, we are now in the Aga 1 fight for LTigre's side. So chat, let's just play a quick little mini game. How many blue balls is Aghanim going to throw at LTigre today? Somewhere between 1 or none, and I believe 15 is the maximum possible.
I'll say 6.
6. Well, let's find out if it's super trolly. So far we're at 0. LTigre, there's the first blue balls.
Devio, meanwhile, making it up the tower.
Oh, a second consecutive blue ball. That's 2 blue balls in a row, everyone. Two blue balls.
Force lightning.
Now this has to be a normal one. Yep, and there it is. And there's our third. And a fourth. So Aga 1 is being incredibly trolly, I think, at this point.
Considering it's almost certainly required, that it almost seems like that happens every time.
Yeah, it's as if it knows that, haha, you've been forced into an Aga seed. I'm going to be as difficult as I can. One more regular attack will finish off Aga 1 for LTigre, but no, and there we go.
There it is.
So 4 blue balls today. And with that, LTigre has achieved Dark World access. We'll see if Pyramid Ledge gets him something. We get a nice map check right off the bat. I see Ice Palace was another 5/6 crystal. Palace of Darkness was one of the pendants. I did not see the other pendant, I'm afraid.
Palace of Darkness being a pendant is particularly rough with the items you have right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is not very many available paths. We can get to the south and go into South Shore.
You can get to anywhere in the Dark World that's not Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's just can't always get around.
No.
And yet, LTigre is going to head towards Palace of Darkness here.
Still 5 items.
Yeah, it's an interesting play when he could hammer his way down the bridge and go to Hype Cave and check a lot of available overworld checks, but we'll see if this choice pays off for him. And it was Meyer Pendant.
Actually, they can't. Correction. I don't believe they can get to the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, they need the hook shot to go to the Village of Outcasts.
To go in that direction, yeah.
To come from Village of Outcasts, they need the flippers to get to the east side. You're right. So the next big deviation potential here after Devios takes care of this truly annoying Aga 1 is going to be whether or not he chooses to head into Palace of Darkness. It's not going to be bow locked because they do have a bow, so they are going to be able to progress completely through the dungeon if they want to. But to go into a red pendant early on in the game is a gutsy move, to say the least, especially when you're looking for so many potential progression items. So let's see what Devio decides to do now. We saw that it was just a bomb upgrade here on Pyramid Ledge, so don't know if we've remembered to mention it. So Swamp was the other pendant. Meyer is a normal crystal, sorry.
Well, they're actually a little limited in their items. Looks like Devio's going to go up. Oh, realizing does not have the mirror.
I think he was realizing, yeah, he has no way to get to either Catfish and no way to get across the river from that direction. So down he heads, and looks like he's gonna cross the bridge and head over to Hype Cave in the south area. So he's got Hype Cave to check here. He can also go over to Stumpy at the Grove and do Dig Game. So there's a lot of overworld items potential here. Meanwhile, LTigre is making his way through Palace of Darkness, hasn't really acquired anything of value at this point. So lots of places still to check in the back section of this dungeon, and we are now in Hype Cave. So,
well, the silver arrows are nice to have, and the powder does unlock a location.
Absolutely. Like, that was a fairly hype cave, to be honest. It's just not anything the runners want at this moment. Silver arrows, of course, with the bow is a great weapon. It's one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It's very useful in certain boss fights.
Unless they're bow immune, it is the most powerful weapon in the game.
And Devio's now going to go ahead.
Tigre getting the silver gloves in the basement of
a glove upgrade there does pay off. Wow. So that's an amazing gut call for him to have made there to go into Palace of Darkness.
That'll wind up opening up all of Dark World.
Yeah, not necessarily by the most direct route, but certainly able to get to places. Additionally, he can now get to... oh no, he still needs the mirror to get to the east side of Death Mountain with that loadout.
Yes.
But Old Man will be open, so you can get that check as well. He's about to try to do a nice hammer jump here. Dig Game nets Devios 50 more rupees.
And Tigre's going to have a big lead.
Yeah, and I wonder where Devio's going to head now. He looks like he's going to go up and head into Palace of Darkness as well.
Yeah, the only other option was to go to Zora or Genus.
Yeah, like, for whatever it's worth, this has been a bunch of really tremendous calls on LTigre's side. Like, he chose not to go to Back of Escape, went immediately up the castle tower, and then made this call to move into Palace of Darkness first, just to pick up and manage to successfully pick up a glove upgrade. Like, you have to be thanking your lucky stars if you're in his position.
It's gutsy, but it's smart. It's calculated guts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's been chasing chest density the entire time.
Yep, it's reasonable in all regards to have made these calls. It's just one of those things where, you know, if you feel like you need to make the risky play in order to be successful in this game, as you often do when you're playing in a race when you're competitive against an opponent who is your equal, sometimes you just got to be willing to pull these triggers. So now he's going to head up into the Back of Escape section, see what he left behind since he has the chest.
He'll hit it much faster than Devio did.
Yeah, it's significantly better for him.
And then my guess is he's going to head on up to Village of Outcasts area and go get his Thieves Town stuff.
Yeah, he's probably going to go that way as well. I agree. Instead of going to the south section, he'll probably get his Outcast Village check, and so he'll miss out on some of the goodies there in Hype Cave. But
he'll be back. He'll be going to Hype Cave at some point.
Yeah, it's an inevitability that he'll get there, and nothing there was enough to change anyone's routing. And certainly when you have Thieves Town as a completable crystal dungeon here, it makes perfect sense to go do Village of Outcasts, get Thieves Town done. Lots of items to potentially find in that just combination.
Now, with this current setup, do you dive into Skull Woods? That became a popular play. The last version, just because of the crystal, I would say maybe do Thieves Town first.
Yeah, you know, they're both crystals. In my personal play, I always try to do Thieves Town first, and I'm not great, so maybe I'm wrong. But we'll see what they choose to do here. It looks like LTigre is going to head back into the Village of Outcasts first. You know, maybe if I had Cane of Samaria or some other things that would just make a couple of the item checks a little easier in Skullwoods, it would pull me.
If it was a pendant, it would pull me.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. Thieves Town pendant, yeah.
No, if Skullwoods was a pendant, it would pull me. So jump in, dive and get the items and never come back. Because if you have to come back, that's the one pendant dungeon that's easy to come back to because
yeah, it's on the way.
Usually it's on the way to the pull.
So while both of our runners did do Castle Tower, we still don't know if this was an Agar-required seed. We'll find out once Agina's Cave and Zora have been visited.
Or if the gold glove appears anywhere else.
Yes, so Aganim is different than Agina. They're two different locations.
Agina is the twin brother of Sarashashaba. They both have cowboy hats.
And LTigre here is going to go up and
he has the cave.
Give us a look at Bumper Cave. It sees that it's a bottle. It's probably going to grab that. It doesn't have access to Sick Kid yet, and that's going to unlock that.
Well, don't need the hook shot here. You can walk across here.
Yeah, you just gotta hug that north wall. And a bee in a bottle as a reward is not too shabby to find. Excellent use of the cape there to deal with that murder bird.
Yeah, those anime birds are no fun, really. They will not stop.
And they hurt a lot when you're on Green Mail.
On Green Mail, yep.
And they're hard to kill with just the Master Sword, so wisely able to just avoid dealing with them with the magic cape there, and is on his way into Thieves Town. So first chest there is Bombos.
Well, considering we have 2 medallion required dungeons that are crystals, so always good to find medallions.
And that technically also can be used to open up Ice Palace as well. So of all of the medallions to find, that's nice with the next glove upgrade. And intentional death warp, I think.
This is an on-purpose death.
Yeah, just to refill his health before moving into the back part of Thieves Town. And our next check is the big key, which we knew we had to find here in one of these first 4 chests of Thieves Town. And a compass.
Because a little concerning when you don't get the small key early on.
Yeah, you know, I often end up finding it. I feel like I get it often from the chest in the dungeon area. Seems to be where I always get it.
You just don't want to necessarily get it on blind and have an item outstanding. That's a long way back. The only key in chest is for an optional.
Devio's going up into Skullwoods, so he's making that check of the front parts of Skullwoods play. So we're just looking for 2 items here in Skullwoods. First item is a dungeon item, so that's not going to count against that number. The compass.
LTigre, meanwhile, progressing through Thieves Town.
And first, there's an item there in LTigre's side. Just another piece of heart, though. So far, Devio has not found any items from Skullwoods in the front half. There's one more location that he can check.
Alright, so correction. The blind cannot have the small key because, in theory, what you can do is take the key from the pot under the door leading up and go down and check the big key chests, and then if the small key is on blind, you can't get the blind.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. I knew that chat was going to get you.
Like I never really considered.
Yeah, the logic in expressly is designed as if you would make the most silliest and careless moves with the keys. It has to be completable even if you choose to do that. So, looks like we will never see what's inside.
Nope. But
the big key chest.
We'll know. We'll know what's inside the big key chest.
Small key.
It's a small key.
So the dip there into Skullwoods does not pay off for Devio. Gets just one of the 2 items. I think he picked up a piece of heart. And LTigre is now about to make his way through the most scripted boss fight of the game. Wow, throwing out a swag hammer strike on one of the floating heads there.
For a time longer than I care to mention, I thought that that text gave you a clue. That was literally going to be either Quake or Bombos, but then somebody pointed out to me, no, they spell ether as E-T-H-E-R.
Yeah. It's ether, Quake, or Bombos. So with that, LTigre picks up his second crystal of the seed, and also the lag red boomerang, the lagarang. Devio also going to pick up his bottle here. Not able to turn it into Sick Kid yet. Next time they're in Kakariko Village, though, hopefully they'll be able to do so.
Tigre will go south around the horn.
Yeah, and now remember, he has not yet gone to Hype Cave or Stumpy, so there's a lot of checks for him to make in this direction.
I'm trying to think now. Where does that mean progression has to be? I guess it could be on Catfish.
There's still Old Man and Agana.
There's
Venus Cave.
Old Man, Agana, Zora,
Under Skull
and
Rock.
Catfish.
They can also get to Spike Cave now.
Yes, that's in logic because of the burner.
Mm-hmm. Or even the Cape in a Bottle. So it is as well from that. But yeah. Catfish as well. They can make it too. And yes, no one has gone to Death Mountain yet because they didn't have the gloves for a very long time, and have no way to get to the east side of Death Mountain at this point.
which is the rich part of Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
There's only the grand total of 2 items available on Death Mountain at this moment.
But they are starting to find themselves severely item locked. There has to be something in one of these available locations to them.
While they're retracing each other's steps, I want to mention that you should follow both of these runners, putting on a really good show for everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. Their information will be up in the chat in just a second. So go ahead and give them some love. I'm sure they'd greatly appreciate it. You know, they've committed to, this is their 7th week or 8th week technically of play. And all of the participants in the tournament have been providing us with hours and hours of entertainment. So I'm sure throw some love their way and they'd greatly be appreciative. And it looks like LTigre is now going to make his way up Death Mountain. He's heading in that direction. It's really one of the last few locations to look for. There's 2 items here minimum that he's going to be able to acquire.
It's pretty much 6 with one hand, half a dozen in the other. Which way you go?
That's true. But in the event that you get something like the mirror or the hook shot, suddenly you'd open up so many other places. So
Actually, I don't know if I love this play by Tigre. He has both powder and the sick kid check. Maybe you want to take a look at those first.
Oh, and so have 3 items because they have Spike Game as well. Well, Boots is something, that's for sure. Opens up some of the Boots locked locations. So Bonk Rocks is now available, and they can, through a little bit of trickery. Oh no, they'll need the magic mirror, so I guess
yes. Just Bonk Rocks for now. The borders with the borders is useless.
Nice speed stairs there, and we see just a bomb item capacity upgrade. And blue mail.
That is blue mail. Do you go get that?
You know, I think you're here, so he's probably going to check Spike Cave first.
Well, then he's not going to get it.
Well, he might get it on his way to Hera or other. He's going to have to come back at this point, so. I suppose it depends on how confident you are. Blue mail is a really nice upgrade. The red mail is a little less so.
Nothing going on the mountain.
Just an arrow capacity upgrade. Does have access to load at the save and quit at Mountain Cave, but now I think he's going to go check his Sick Kid and Hammer Pegs, I think. Plus Bonk Rocks, since it's on the way. And just a piece of heart there, though, so Bonk Rocks didn't pay off with anything special. So he's going to head into Hammer Peg, or not Hammer Peg, sorry, the Mad Batter.
Yep.
And we will find out what this crazy bat will curse LTigre with today. And it turns out that it is a bug net.
Curse of bugs.
Of course, that unlocks swag strats for Aga 2 if you really want to go crazy. And
Devio,
with
meanwhile,
that,
having no problem with blind.
yep, picks up his live meringue. And now he can taunt the sick kid with his bug net, and sick kid pays him a bounty of 300 rupees for it. So LTigre, because he hasn't checked Skull Woods, I'm interested to see if that's where he's going to go next, as he's clearly heading into the dark world again. Meanwhile, Devio's already done that check, so we'll see what he chooses to do now that he's finished these down.
Devio could make up some ground here.
I mean, we're looking really at the Zora or Agina's cave at this point, having to have something that pays off. Neither of which are checks that either runner really wants to do because they're both so out of the way.
Devio gonna go turn his powder and his sick kid.
As well, they could make their way to Catfish. That's an even longer trek. Not so bad for LTigre since he can have the since he has boots now.
I think Devio's gonna head on up mountain.
Oh, nope. No, actually, he's going down.
Nope. No, he just...
Yep, he's probably going to go up the mountain.
Made a mistake, yeah.
Yeah, I thought if he goes to his house, he might be heading to Agina or down to Zora. He could take the whirlpool to get there. But no, up the mountain he goes. Meanwhile, LTigre takes an intentional Wallmaster grab because he's done with this dungeon. And I would assume that LTigre is going to dash across the top of the world here, the north route. Can't pick up anything else along the way, but can at least get over to Catfish.
Boy, with the dungeons that are available and where the pendants are, I don't know if I wouldn't... Well, he hasn't had the fire rod yet, obviously.
Yeah, they can't.
But I don't know if I wouldn't maybe complete it next time.
Yeah, there's really nowhere else to go until they find something.
No.
And I figured this is the most logical path for LTigre at this point, coming out of Skull Woods. He's in the dark world. He's got the boots. So,
as does
dash across
Devio.
the top. And yet, Devios picks up his now.
I believe you can dive. No mirrors. You can't dive swamp.
Nope. There's really nowhere to go until they get some more goodies. So 50 rupees out of Catfish does not pay off. Devios now has visual confirmation of the blue mail. We'll see if he chooses to grab that. And it turns out the answer is yes. And down to Agina. Or Agina. I never know exactly how to pronounce that one.
Agina.
And as chat correctly points out, if they find the second glove upgrade, if they find a glove upgrade here in either of these places, they're going to feel awful. Just based on the fact that they would have not had to do at Castle Tower, and they might be thinking, oh my goodness, my opponent didn't do it.
So it look like that might be the case.
You know, it's got to be. I mean, we could also find Hookshot. which would open up plenty of things. Or mirror. Flute even would do a little bit. And there's the mirror, so that does definitely open up the Death Mountain play.
Yep, and that's where Tigre's gonna go. Right up to Death Mountain. Take care of Hera. Take care of Eastern Mountain.
Yeah, it also puts. I don't know if we've seen a check while I was away on the Lake Hylia Island. Puts that in play. Cave 45 as well. Graveyard Ledge now, and King's Tomb.
That's killer, actually. It probably means that Aghanim wasn't required because they could have done this whole Death Mountain thing way before you did Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Aghanim.
Well, no, but they needed a glove.
Yes, you're right. So that's not
So
true.
not yet. We'll have to see what Zora provides. If they find like Flute at Zora, then yeah, absolutely. So, to the basement we are forced to go. LTigre is going to be able to play coffee break if he wants. Instead, choosing to manually deal with these tiles. And Devio looks like we're gonna maybe see Zora.
Yep.
And there's the big key as we expected here in the basement. And LTigre is going to make his way up the mountain now, or up the tower. So as soon as we see what Zora drops, we'll know if that was a required Calcitar seed. If it's the Flute or a glove upgrade, then they did not have to do Aga 1. Provided, of course, that the Flute and Death Mountain and Tower of Hera and everything could lead to the other upgrade.
Good bomb jump from LTigre.
So it turns out it was just a park container, so they can rest easy knowing that they made the right call. And LTigre now facing off against the mighty Trolldorm.
Boy, oh boy.
Trolldorm doing his best
off
there. But 3 spins and that's all she wrote. And there's our powers.
This is a very much lead you by the nose seed.
Titan mid, yeah, like it's literally going, go here now, and now go here. And this place next. The only real kind of out of, not even out of sequence, it was required eventually, was this play that Devio's making now down to Agonist Cave. Could have done that a lot sooner.
Tigre will be able to get most of the items out of Eastern Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah,
no, three items out of the Hookshot Cave not available.
Yep. So sees that there's 100 rupees sitting up there on the floating island. Not going to be needing to make that particular check. And we get to do a nice dash run through Spiral Cave, which is incredibly satisfying compared to the slow walk of shame. And at some point, it's still a question as to whether or not LTigre is going to pick up that blue mail. Maybe he's just going to never mind it for the rest of the seed. And we'll get our luck here now. The 7 items here in Paradox Cave.
They're on each other's heels, pretty much. It's about a dungeon behind Devio is.
And a fairly quick one as well at that. Ether medallion there in the bottom part of Paradox Cave. So 2 out of the 3 medallions starts to look good for your chances of having all the required medallions. Plus 5 air capacity upgrade. There's your Cane of Samaria and a fire rod.
Ooh,
So 2
cave.
important items progression-wise.
And the flute! The real hive cave here, up on the mountain.
Wow. So that gave us access to potentially Misery Mire as a completable dungeon, as long as we have the correct medallion for that. Also opened up...
If Turtle Rock is a medallion, yeah. It's a point where you may want to consider going back to get your blue mail.
Yeah, if you're LTigre, just to get through that more difficult thing, dealing with those chain chomps and whatnot. Even with 11 hearts, it's not ideal.
But with powder and the net, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, now of course to finish Turtle Rock, he'll need to find... Oh no, he has the Ice Rod, so you can complete this. And it is
Absolutely,
Ether, so...
it's Ethers. That's the play. Do it.
Absolutely, go ahead and do it. So for LTigre, he's looking for the hook shot and potentially a medallion.
That means Skullwood's clearable, Ice Palace is clearable.
And look at this, he is actually going to go ahead and check the rest of these dungeons before, or the rest of these item locations before heading into Turtle Rock. It's a lot easier if you have the hook shot to get through that one fire room. It's not hard, it's just faster. And also being able to go would be awesome.
Just like this, almost completely out of nowhere. Yeah, they're a hook shot away from go mode.
Yeah, the seed really kind of seemed so closed down for so long, like nothing was happening, and then whoop, 3 highly required progression items in one location. So LTigre is actually able to use bonk jumps to get to this one chest here, and the rest of Hookshot Cave is logically blocked.
There is only one chance left for the pedestal at this point. It is that Mire is Quake, and the pedestal has Quake.
Yep, everything, the hookshot has to be accessible in order to finish Swamp. And LTigre is going to just go ahead and deal with Green Mail, 12 Heart, Turtle Rock.
Yeah, with
powder, you're right.
Bottle, powder, net,
and the bug net, so
cape.
you can catch things. Yep, absolutely. And Cane of
Not
Burna as
safety
well, too.
items. One thing I'd be worried about would be magic.
Yeah, and if you're careful, there are a lot of full magic refills along the way, so... Well, that's not the right way to go, and LTigre pulls a U-turn.
Yeah, if you have the hook shot, that's the right way to go.
Yep. It's hard not to muscle memory that and just go for it, but definitely not the way you want it to go.
Good U-turn, though.
Yep. It's as if the developers put that there for a reason. Nice Cane of Burna stash.
Knows full well if there is a full magic upgrade down at the bottom.
Yep. And Devios now about to get his look at this ultimate cave of wonders.
Now for one of the most dangerous rooms in the game.
Yeah, these chain chomps are going to do a whopping 4 hearts each.
They're not terribly predictable.
Yeah, they are danger. Green
That's
goo
green
and
potion.
4 more damage though, but now he's going to have access to these anti-fairies to replenish his hearts if he needs to.
Anyway,
LTigre does decide to do that.
Still looking for hook shot. Do you hit the center chest?
Typically, I don't know that it can be there. Well, it certainly can't be there right now because of the key situation.
Right.
So it's definitely not, because you're going to have to get a key out of it at this point.
I think for that to be a choice, you either have to have all keys, including the big key, in those first chests.
Yeah. So this will have to be a replacement key, I believe. Yeah.
Want to go back into... Well,
he released his B there. He's going to plan on collecting some fairies out of these 4 anti-fairies up here. And great move.
it's gonna stink if you have to do a lot of this laser bridge. I guess you have green goo, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's true. Just being able to replenish that magic. Meanwhile, Devios is following exactly in LTigre's footsteps, just half a dungeon behind, maybe 2/3, but will have the blue mail as he most likely heads into Turtle Rock now. And in Mimic Cave, they find 20 more rubies.
Going to the big key chest. Oh, the big chest, not the big key chest. There's the map.
Oof! Those Medusa statues throwing a little fire at LTigre, saying, "Can't stand there."
Those things will spit hot fire.
Mm-hmm.
Really nicely done by Tigre there.
Yeah, I like that kind of using the bonk there to dodge the spike roller and not having to switch from the bow. Here's another room that I think all of us who played this game as children remember as being super impossible to deal with, but in reality is so simple.
Just got another route.
Yeah.
All it took was all of us playing this game dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, absolutely. So Laser Bridge normally is quite a pain. If you choose to use Cane of Burna or Cape, it's not so bad. LTigre makes a really good check there.
Dashes.
Yeah, these are beautiful dashes. Gets both a 10 arrow capacity upgrade and the official Whole Foods TM artisanal arrow.
And he gets you Laser Bridge without spending a drop of magic or taking a tick of damage. Well done.
Well, he did use a little magic on that Cane of Samaria block.
Oh, that's true.
But that was as clean a Laser Bridge as I've seen with this particular item loadout. Followed up by an unclean bonk there, unfortunately for him. He's looking so good. Oh,
jeez, it's just not...
Trolled on that Cane of Samaria block. Devio's cleaning up past the chain chomp room there. Didn't get touched at all. Very nice. As we are now on to Trinex. So after you finish Trinex off, where do you think we're going to see LTigre go? That's my next question.
Mire.
It's Misery Mire?
Mire. The whole Mire zone.
He is going to have to hit Kakariko Village first just to activate the flute, but...
Yep.
Unfortunately, he missed a couple of times with the hammer there and gets a whole pile of blue on the floor here in the Trinex fight and
takes it, has
goes down. Fairy pickups were going to be integral here to his survival.
Know why this boss is called Trinex?
Why is that?
Because he has 3 necks.
Oh, he does have 3 necks. Ooh, takes another bonk off into those spikes there. Well, Tigre's going to have to be careful because Trinex hurts when you're on green mail.
Trinex hurts when you're on red mail.
It's true, but he can't afford more than 2 hits, I think.
And Mire has a ton of chests. Is not too miserable.
No. Watch out!
The items. Oh,
no,
the ice!
The ice! The ice physics does him in. Oh. Uncomfortable situation. I believe that was it. And here's an opportunity now for Devio to pull ahead.
They are neck and neck at this point.
Absolutely. They're literally... Devios is just in the Mimic Cave, so just behind where LTigre is. But is going to be in a more... in a better position, health and survivability-wise, than LTigre is. Of course, LTigre doesn't have to go down Laser Bridge again, but he's already at 4 hearts.
He can recover some of that in the next room.
Yeah.
Including filling up on fairies if he wants to.
Yeah, and I believe since he's going to take at least that hit there, yeah. 3 hearts, you're going to want to make sure you stop. Now, oh, Tigre deciding not to go down. There is a fairy cave to the south there, and
but there's tons of anti-fairies.
That's true, the anti-fairies. Oh! I thought he was going to get both of them there and not get to have his caught fairy and have to go for the next one, but it turns out he managed. And that same anti-fairy trolls him yet again, trying to hit that switch. Yep. So Chad asks a good question. Why do they always seem to kill the fire side first when the ice side is what makes a mess on the ground? Fire one is hittable earlier. It's quite possible to get those 3 hammer hits, hit him again, and finish him off before ice gets to do anything. And in this case, that is what happened. So a much cleaner start to the Trinex fight here. Unfortunately,
with having to switch the hammer, you can't get the next item ready while it's exploding. And this game, for whatever reason, when explosions are happening, refuses to allow you to.
And we're...
Oh, he's having magic.
Oh no!
Oh, that's.
He needed that hit.
Nope. And he saves and quits.
Yeah, at this point, you know, it's just a comeback later, I guess. That may seem very bad, but keep in mind that if he just leaves, unless Trinex has hookshot on him, which could be the case, that's just the final boss you decide to kill on the way up to Ganon's Tower. So it's not the end of the world for him, unless, of course, we see that hookshot was there.
Devio right now neck and neck and neck and neck with Trinex. Oh, and he's having some trouble.
Ooh, You really can't afford... He has a green goo, so he is going to get a recharge.
Yeah.
Wisely choosing to wait for that head to fly out. But unlike LTigre, Devios doesn't have a ferry.
No safety in a lot of ice.
And he's doing something you don't often see, which is to just exploit the fact that... Oh no!
And down goes Devios.
And he's going to choose to go ahead and attempt to finish this dungeon off.
He can pick up fairies just easily.
Yep. Doesn't have the magic refill in his pocket anymore, so he's going to have to be a lot more careful. Now, LTigre is choosing to go ahead and deal with hookshot, or excuse me, use that fire rod to activate the back half of Skullwoods to open that up. There's still one item located there. Could potentially be on Mothula, but could also be in that chest. You know, neither of these runners, I think, is going to be feeling comfortable about their position in the game. Little do they know, of course, that both of them have suffered from the exact same difficulties.
All right, round 2 for Devio.
And now we'll see if Mothula was the right play to make. Oh, you don't want to see 2 misses in a row there.
Or 3 for that matter.
3.
Or 4.
And that's it. He can't... I don't think he can finish Trinex here. I think
Definitely can't now.
Save and quit. So I hope that for his sake he chooses to come back a little bit later. I guess he kind of has to with that save and quit.
This is a kind of remarkable in that they're both having execution issues, but they're having the exact same execution issues in the exact same way.
Yeah, it's really a very interesting way to see the seed go. So LTigre now has finished Mothula. Now, this was just a big 20. If Devios goes elsewhere first, it's going to be a great opportunity for him to catch up to the difference there. Of course, he does have to deal with Mothula at some point.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible play for Tigre, just because you got to do it.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. But sometimes it's if it's an overworld location for the hookshot and you're not, you know, it ends up being so far the last place you go to, could really be detrimental. So lots of items here in Mire Shed, or in the Mire area, plus access to Desert Palace if they choose to.
Bombos on Misery Mire, that will eliminate the pedestal.
Yep. Ped Seed is dead. Will this be another dreaded hookshotless Swamp Palace?
Hookshot could be an early Ice Palace as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be on Trinex.
That would be just a nightmare scenario.
Well, theoretically, if these runners could hover,
they'd be in go mode.
but since neither of them are named Andy,
Although I did have a seed a couple of last week. I did watch a race where we had unknown hover go mode situation where runner finished in an hour 12 minutes.
it's always fun when a runner learns how to hover and no one realizes it.
Yeah, it was an impressive thing. So checkerboard cave is nothing. LTigre went right into Misery Mire, so his first check also doesn't turn up anything useful.
Hookshot could also be on Salad Shooter.
Yeah, Green Palace is the Green Pendant is in the desert, so there it is.
Right now.
Yeah.
Trouble with hovering is that it's far easier to do if you have an actual console than if you have an emulator.
And
just because of the timing.
To be fair, the easy is a relative term. Even with a console, it's still rather tricky.
Some would argue it goes from very hard to almost impossible.
Well, to be honest, I learned this the other day that the hovering technique was first discovered on console. Or not console, on an emulator. And for a while it was thought it would be impossible to do on the console, but it turns out it's not.
The opposite is true, actually. If the timing is just a tiny bit off on the emulator, which it very often is, it won't work. Nice ball of fairy.
That's one of the two items here in Misery Mire.
I'm saying it's impossible on the emulator. I'm saying it's harder.
Yeah, and some speculation or some discussion in chat there about the requirement dungeons for hookshot. Well, it is true that Ganon's Tower specifically does require it, logically, and so does Swamp Palace. Ice Palace can be logically hookshot locked, depends on where the keys are located in the dungeon, but can also be cleared without the hookshot in all cases using bomb jumps and other routing techniques. So I was wondering if we'd see a nice spooky action glitch from LTigre side, but we will not today.
That is a very, very new glitch. It was discovered a week ago, right?
Yeah, and people are already implementing it. 2 weeks ago, yeah. And people are already implementing it in their runs.
It's not a particularly difficult glitch. It's just gotta kind of learn it.
Yeah, it's really fairly straightforward. The first time I sat down to try it, it was one try and I got it. But if I did have to learn exactly what I was supposed to do.
You have to have the setup for it too. You won't always have it.
Yeah, you need the right item loadout. Turns out it can save you about 7 to 11 seconds, depending on situation.
Tigre doing the other really hard boss in this game. Although, if you wanted to, you can start shooting silver arrows
Yeah,
at
he
it.
has silver arrows, so it's a
There we
very
go.
interesting choice. 41 silver arrows. There's really no reason to.
Might have forgotten he had those.
Light up.
No, nothing going on Meyer, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Meyer doesn't really pay off other than the crystal, but another crystal in your pocket leaves only 2 remaining for LTigre now, Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. Oh, there's the hook shot in the big key chest.
Did Tigre not get that?
Tigre did not go there. He skipped it because it is very rare that you go into there. And there's the item number 2 out of, you know, I think he was counting on there being something on Vitreous, and when he didn't see it, he's thought to himself, well, I'm not going back in there.
That puts Devio into go mode. He should go back. I don't know about not getting the chest. It's not far. It's not hard to get to.
That's risky at this point in the game as well. Like, I guess there's a lot of potential items here in Desert, so he's thinking maybe this is an item density play to make. And to be fair, LTigre has done a lot of. It's been obvious that item density has played a large factor in his decision-making process. Right from the start
I know,
of the
but when you're inside of Meyer, coming off of even just coming off of the warp from the big key chest, it's not. We're talking maybe 5-10 seconds to get to the.
Oh yeah, well, it picks up a tempered sword here in Desert, so that's a nice find at least. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree. You know, when you're in there, I'm always a proponent of just finish off the dungeon if you're in it. But then again, I'm not born too.
No, me neither. I'll make an exception for the iced tea room because that is annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a pretty huge turning point. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses to do after he finishes Desert, though. And here we see Devio's side just how straightforward this fight can be when you have silver arrows. Just sit there, shoot each arrow once, and Vitreous' main eyeball twice. Fight's over.
What I fear, honestly, is that Tigre just didn't get his tracking right.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. May have miscounted his items. So now this is really, really beneficial for Devio because he's going to be able to full clear, or he's going to be able to go mode Ice Palace, go mode Skullwoods, not that there's much left in Skullwoods, and then head up to Turtle Rock, finish that off as quick as possible, pick up probably some blue goo on the way, and enter Ganon's Tower. So tremendous speed advantage available.
Devio may have to do Ganon with the blue sword, but that's not going to make it the difference.
Yeah, it's not. It may not be fun, but with silver, at least he has the silver arrows, so it is not the nightmare scenario of silverless Master Sword. LTigre picking up the Quake medallion along with his green pendant. Not what he wanted to see here. Now he is going for this magic portal. He hasn't gone to Checkerboard Cave though. That might be where he's at, and that's where LTigre's heading. And activating the flute, pulling him further and further away from the Misery Mire location. Heading into Ice Palace now. And there's a fairly good chance that Devio's going to be able to finish off Skullwoods and get into Ice Palace at about the same time as LTigre is finishing Ice Palace. He could actually catch up here just because of the difference in go mode Ice Palace versus full clear Ice Palace. But of course, all is not lost for LTigre. He could easily finish off Ice Palace to go, uh-oh, I missed something.
He might think that something is, I need to be Trinex.
That's true.
And he might gamble on Tower having it if he doesn't realize.
Well, he could if he pays attention to the key situation here in Ice Palace. It's possible that it could give him a clue that he should have hookshot by now. So basically, if Ice Palace starts requiring him to go into that bomb jump area, then he may think to himself, wait a minute.
I don't think the key situation's happening, though. We got a key early on.
Yeah, he does have that key. So there, Devio swings by the witch to fill up his bottles of blue goo before heading into Ice Palace. I like that play. Ice Palace is another dungeon that you could use a lot of magic on, especially when you're on Master Sword.
I think Tigre is panicking a little bit.
Hey, he's really struggling with this bomb jump.
He's got the lineup right, and then he keeps moving.
Yep, and that's not it either. I think he needs to be a little bit further back as well on that last try.
He stops with the lineup in the right spot, and then he just moves.
There it is, and there it is.
There.
Oh, you had it! That might be it.
There we go.
It is. Yeah, and he may be really stressed out because let's keep in mind, in his head, he died on Trinex 2 or 3 times. There's a chance that that's where hookshot was. He could be feeling in a psychological game that like he's so far behind, and like that really does affect your play. Now, little does he know that Devio's also had that same problem. So Devio is perhaps feeling the exact same thing. Although finding the hookshot in Misery Mire means that he's a little bit more comfortable.
For me personally, when the seed starts going this bad, I start getting a little relaxed because I start figuring, well, I've lost. Like up until I get into like Ganon's Tower and still haven't lost is when I'll start pressing again. Yeah,
that is absolutely true. But of course, if you're really pushing for that 5th win, you know you got to feel for these guys.
Oh no, this is a horrible feeling.
Yep. And see, we're about to see here.
I hope it's a calculated gamble and not a tracking error. I would hate to see a bracket spot decided on something as silly as a tracking error.
Yeah, but as much as I agree, you know, that's a significant portion of the game is managing your item knowledge and your tracking, so it is something that sucks to have that mistake happen, but it certainly won't be the first nor the last time if that is what took place.
What is Devio doing?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's looking for. Does he need the big key still?
No, he don't need the big key. He bomb jumped.
Where's he going?
He's checking simple chess for sorts.
I guess that's right there. So.
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, and so we see here Devio's able to do 2 full dungeons, basically, in the time that it's taken LTigre to do the 1. Because of this go mode situation.
So if you really know your logic here, the big key was in the right side, which means that without glitches, the hook shot was technically required. What that should tell you, and I'm gonna big assist from the chat to help an ACM in the chat from pointing this out, is that the hook shot can't be in the tower.
Yeah, but if I were to guess where he probably thinks it is at this point, would be on try next.
Yep.
And with that, Devios pulls into a fantastic position here.
Kind of wishing Tigre will go to 6 here.
And no, he's heading up to turn in the green medallion.
Turn
or
in
green pin.
pendant. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
We're just hoping it's a gamble and not a tracking error. If it was a gamble, that means he might go back.
So Devio getting Deadrock here. Because why not? And LTigre, I think he's picking up some magic, so that might be telling us that he's going to go over to deal with his Trinex fight.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
He also could potentially go and deal with big fairy check, but he's not going to do that, it seems. He also gets Deadrocked here, so fluting away from that. Try again. It'll be really telling to see what LTigre decides to do as soon as he finishes off Trinex. If he goes right back to Misery Mire, then we know he made a gamble. If he stumbles along the way trying to figure out what he's missed, then that's an indication that he's got a tracker problem. Devio, unfortunately, taking the wrong tunnel here.
I'm hoping for a third possibility, maybe he's hovered before but isn't sure about it. Gives it a shot.
I mean, what a time to have to make a perfect hover on shoulder
yeah.
2. So, just in chat, just saying that you'd go into pod. Well, Palace of Darkness, both runners actually have full cleared Palace of Darkness. They just didn't kill the boss. They had to get their first glove upgrade there. So that is, though it is dark on their item tracker, they've been there and cleared out all of the chests.
And they know that the hookshot cannot be on the pedestal, so there's no reason to check that.
Yeah. And both runners did go in to fight Trinex once already, and both failed. So that's why they both probably feel behind.
You know why this boss is called Trinex?
I don't know why.
That's what his mother called him.
Oh! Did you just assume Trinex's gender?
No, that's fair.
Could easily be laying some eggs back there. You know, Trinex has been the bane of these runners' existence this matchup, as Devios having a particularly challenging time here.
There's a point where maybe you just give up on the hammer.
Yeah, the hammer strats just don't seem to be...
Go ahead and hit him with the Master Sword. Don't need to spin attack or anything with him.
Oh my goodness. So, and there you go. The difference between a clean and not so clean Trinex is kind of being demonstrated here. Look at all that mess on the floor, and LTigre successfully getting some good hammers and swings in there. Unfortunately, didn't grab the hook shot from that, and must be going, what's going on here?
Boy, this should be one exciting race if you check that chest.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't think it would be. I think Tigre would be way ahead.
Yeah, he wouldn't have gone in desert and would have had a much faster time through Ice Palace, so... Tempered Sword is going to help, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to play everyone's favorite game. If you are interested in participating, enter a number between 1 and 22 to guess where the big key is going to be located here in Ganon's Tower. If you're a member or a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming family of channels, you'll be entered into the chance to have your name emblazoned on the leaderboard, or as well, if you have donated 250 bits at some point, you will be able to participate as well. So Ridley, where do you think we're going to see the big key?
First location.
Number 1. Okay, well, we'll see what happens for LTigre here, because he's gone in. And number 1 is not big key. Nor is number 2. So even though LTigre doesn't have the hook shot yet, he is the one we are counting. He was the first one in. And this is going to be real challenging. I know that the rules are whoever enters Ganon's Tower first is where the big key is going to be. But if LTigre does get trapped behind his hookshotless situation, he might have to leave without finding the big key. It'll be interesting to see what happens. There it is, though, so it's not the problem. It's not going to be a problem today.
All right, we've got the big key on the right side. What number was that?
That was number 4. Number 4 today. So congratulations. I think you checked the bottom one first, right? So it was 4, or was that 3?
Check the bottom first.
Yeah, so 4.
Do you not?
Or it was 3. Didn't check the bottom one first. Oh no! Change it to 3 before you save. There we go. Fixed. We fixed it. So now, LTigre is going to be searching the rest of Ganon's Tower for the hookshot, I imagine. Meanwhile, Devios is heading up the gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm just hoping LTigre has practiced hovering and wasn't too super sure about it, and is now just gonna have to try it.
Yeah, the only way to cross this is either with the hookshot or using the hover glitch, so there is no bomb jumping across Trolldorm 2.
But the way that Tigre is looking for the hookshot everywhere makes me think that he doesn't know how to do it at all.
Yeah, and with that, he is Gonna check the last couple of chests available to him. The rando room, or the there's this item here on the torch. The next room is also a hookshot required to get to any chests. You only need one hookshot, and the rest you can make with bonks.
If
Or maybe you can bonk this.
a little surprised you didn't check the big chest.
I think LTigre's really needed a little bit of magic. Where's he heading?
Don't know.
Oh, he's gonna check tile. Meanwhile, Devio's on Landmolus. Gets a nice 2-cycle there. The first Wizrobe room cleared with the Canis Mario in 1 cycle. Let's see if he's able to do that with the second one in just a few moments. And getting a piece of hard container there. LTigre gonna head up the tower. Nope. Doesn't know what to do.
Tigre going up.
Wow, I don't know. This is going to be a pretty exciting situation if he pulls out an untested hover.
He's still fairly far behind.
Yep, but still mad props if he does. I mean, at this point, if he feels like he's behind and that he's made enough mistakes, he might just give it a try. You never know if you can suddenly do it.
Trying some dash strats for Moldorm. He's not cooperating.
Yeah, Moldorm did not feel like doing that. Now, meanwhile, it should be mentioned, I don't know if either of us said it, that Devios did pick up that Tempered Sword in the Hookshot Cave, so his decision to check those locations paid off as he was on his way to Ganon's Tower. And since Aga 1 threw 4 blue balls, let's see what Aga 2 decides to do.
There's a little less because his clones.
Yep. Get a nice double there on the first one. There's the first blue ball, but
well,
another... single there. And that was great. So it was a 2-2-1-1.
2-2, almost perfect. Even if Tigre could hover, Devio at this point would need to fall at the very least once.
Yeah, considering he has picked up that Tempered, it's really less likely. Master Sword is significantly more challenging on phase 1s and 2, which is when you're most likely to fall off.
I'd say phase 1 and 2 you're least likely to fall off.
If you get... Oh, that's right. I mean to take damage, sorry.
That's
absolutely correct. There's no hole.
There's a mail on that top right chest.
Well, he finally picked up his blue mail. And you gotta think, like, I wonder if if we have an opportunity to chat with him at the end, if he's gonna be. I should have picked up that blue mail before that Trinex fight, because he was very close to defeating Trinex on his first go, but got bodied just one too many times.
None of it matters with the hookshot being where it is.
True, but it might have
try to hover.
He is. Well,
he's gonna try to.
You have to at this point. Maybe he'll kill Trolldorm first. No.
Or he will leave.
He might have, but in the event that if he had maybe killed Trinex, he might have felt a little more calm and not made that mental error. We'll have to wait and see what he says when things are over. And with that, Devio has taken down Ganon, and as long as he can safely cross this three-tile wide bridge, is going to be the victor, claim victory, with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 11 seconds.
And Tigre has forfeited as well.
Yeah, I believe at this point that he probably has no idea what he's missed, and it's going to be very upsetting for him when he finds out exactly what happened.
Hey, Devio here for an interview?
Yeah, we'll pull him on up. Congratulations, GG, and what a race there, Devio.
Oh boy, that was something.
Yeah, it was a very close race. A couple of very significant things happened though that put you in a secure position along the way. Your opponent unfortunately was unable to find the hook shot.
Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe that could have happened because that really. You know, it would make sense to check the overworld. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but it was kind of by luck that I decided to go into Swamp, or Misery Mire, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just forgot about that big key chest, killed Vitreous a little bit before you, and never visited the big key chest, and therefore left it sitting in the dungeon.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Now, I will say that this scene kind of started off very linearly, I would say. Never really blew up into a wide open thing. How were you feeling along the way in that midpoint before you got access to Paradox Cave?
Oh, that was, yeah, I was terrified, actually. I was thinking, you know, like, is this one of those seeds that I've had before where, like, Agina has, like, progression that I, you know, that I didn't have to fight Aga 1, you know, was that kind of thing. But it turned out Agina happened to have the mirror, which is actually the one progression item that would help me in that situation and make me not feel like I'm horribly behind.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty wild. And then, yeah, it was basically just really hope I find something in these next couple things that I unlocked up until I got to, until that point, and could get to the ridiculous Paradox Cave.
Yeah, that was 3 progression items right there.
I was just the hookshot away from go mode at that point. I actually
Absolutely.
I had to like stop and think for a second to be like, is that really what happened?
Yeah, and now speaking of what happened immediately following that, you finished off Dark Death Mountain, headed into Turtle Rock for that first time. How are you feeling about that Trinex fight?
That Trinex fight, I usually have no problems with the hammer, you know. But I guess maybe like I haven't like screwed it up enough to know how to handle when things go horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, you like for whatever reason I usually have it down to a script, right? Yep. And even if I have like just the hammer to really do damage, so I don't know. That was very embarrassing, but you know it happens.
You're also joined by LTigre.
What's up?
GG.
Tough break on this one, LTigre.
GG. Yeah,
So-
pretty tough break. So where's that hook shot at?
All right, it was in the big chest in Misery Mire.
Okay.
Was that a gamble or was that a tracking?
That was a gamble.
Okay.
At that point, you know, I had such a bad Turtle Rock, it probably lost like, a lot of time to Turtle Rock. I just figured like I had to just gamble in those little locations that are just out of the way.
Would you believe you were actually ahead?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh god! Of
it
course.
was remarkable. You guys had made the same execution errors on almost the same exact way.
Wow,
You
that's
both
trippy.
you both had to a couple of tries on Trinex that first time through, died, and then had to save and quit because you ran out of magic.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
so-
I was
Wow,
lucky.
that's pretty crazy.
I was lucky that I had just enough magic to open Misery Mire at that point. I didn't realize that until I was casting the magic. Oh, I have no magic left. That would have been really silly.
Yeah, it was very tight at that point. All the way along, really, you were neck and neck up until that one little gamble that did not pay off. I did have a question for you, though, LTigre, about you're on your way up to Castle Tower there. Were you tempted to make the long path trek back down into the escape sequence to pick up those 3 chests, or?
I definitely thought about it. It was like, if the glove was there, then I had just gotten like super baited, with like the cape and the master sword and the lantern. I'm like, you know what? Like, let's just take this gamble. I just felt it that the glove was not back there, and all the items, kind of proved that. And I was just like, all right, hey, I'm not gonna bother. It's a couple, it took a couple minutes probably just to get back there, and I really don't think the glove's there, and so it paid off. So
It absolutely did. The one thing, then you followed that play up, which was a great play, with your decision to head directly into Palace of Darkness, a pendant dungeon, coming out of the pyramid. What was your thought process there that led you to that, to make that call, which led you to the Power Glove?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, when I decided to go Aghanim, I knew, that I was going pod, because it's the only thing I have the option to go to in the Dark World, other than, the one chest on the pyramid. So,
well, you did have Hammer for Hype Cave, so...
No,
Yeah.
it's true.
I
did have Hammer for Hype Cave.
I was actually headed to pod
I totally
for a
forgot
moment.
about that.
I was actually headed to pod for a moment until I realized, oh yeah, there's Hype Cave, I can do that real quick, and it's not that big a deal, but that didn't pay off.
No,
really.
it didn't. It definitely did not pay off. But so LTigre, both those calls kind of are what gave you that advantage for
Interesting.
a large mid portion of the seed that didn't really get equalized until that Misery Mire situation.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty crazy that we both had such bad turtle rocks. It's always tough with just the hammer and the master sword, but I just I miscounted on one of the necks, I guess. I thought I'd done the proper damage, and then that just threw off the whole fight after that.
I kept on managing to I don't know what exactly what was happening, but maybe I was pausing at the right time so that the damage wouldn't register and things like that. I just got I got totally tilted at that point, and I was just like, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm gonna come back later in better spirits.
Yeah, and then the other kind of question I had for you, Devio, was, oh no, I'm losing it. Oh no, I had it in my head and it's gone again. I'm sorry. LTigre, then Devio, when you went back into Trinex the second time, again, suffering from all sorts of goo on the ground.
Yeah, I guess overconfidence is a terrible thing, because I go in there, I'm like, I've done Hammer Trinex a bunch of times, I'm pretty comfortable with it, but if one thing goes haywire, it just snowballs, it seems. So maybe I need to go and practice that some more.
Yeah, and then you did manage to make that call to go into Hookshot Cave along the way, picking up your Tempered Sword. Was that a nice relief as you saw that?
Yeah, that was basically the one thing I was looking for at that point. Is I can do a Master Sword Ganon and fairly comfortably, but I don't like to have to do that if possible. And I'll grab anything that's quick along the way, and that's a pretty good. The Hookshot Cave is a pretty decent one for 3 items. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, it was a fantastic seed. Like, it was a lot of fun to watch. Chat was really, really involved in it because there was a lot of nail-biting moments while you guys are making decisions. So, thanks a lot for both of you for giving us such a great, fantastic show. Congratulations, Devio. That puts you in that 5-2 thing, and so you'll be moving ahead to brackets. How are you feeling about that particular situation today?
Kind of terrified, but you know, that's I guess it just depends, like who I get matched up against. There are a lot of really good runners in there, so you know, it's it'll be fun, but also kind of, you know, maybe I should practice a bit.
Are you telling me you have not practiced at all during this?
No, I have. It's just that Trinex fight was kind of a disappointment. That really should have gone a lot better. I'm usually a little more competent than that, but you know, it happens. I will say though, I'm pretty pleased with the Ganon fight, even though I miscounted the amount of hits during the second phase.
Yeah, it did go relatively smoothly. It was a very, very nice fight.
Yeah, I like that.
Considering all of the troubles and tribulations that both of you went through along the way.
Yeah, so that got a little bit of the bad taste out of my mouth. That fourth round again.
Okay, with that, I think we're going to wrap up here on Speed Gaming 3. Do give a big follow to these runners. Their links will be in the chat. Along with big thank you to our tracker, Deuce May. Give a follow to them. And give a follow to my excellent co-commentary, Crowzone80, on Twitch.
Absolutely. Thanks for commentating with me, Ridley, as well. I'm sure follow your way would be a fantastic thing. We had such a great time together. Just want to double check real quick. There's some more races going on that some of our viewers might wish to look into, taking place today, happening at 11 p.m. So in just a few minutes, ZZZ Cube versus KGB the Hero will be taking place on Speed Gaming, the main channel, followed by another matchup taking place just before midnight, Demon RHK versus Hitaka on Speed Gaming 2. And then you'll have to wait all the way until 8 a.m. tomorrow for the next matchup. So on behalf of all of the participants and volunteers here at the Spring Rando 2018 tournament, thanks a lot for watching. We greatly appreciate all of you viewers and fans in the channel who view this along with us. Thanks to the runners again for providing hours and hours of entertainment for all of us, and we'll see you in the next race.